Hey, Big Brother fans, it's late, so you're gonna get probably a bunch of mishmash. Episode 5 of Big Brother season 14. We open with Janelle saying that she was in an alliance with Brittany, but she can't control her players. So she doesn't want to be associated with that. And of course, this entire episode was just centered around Willie and his idiocy. Brittany says that she hates that she chose Willie and now she's going to pay the price. I think she really wanted to try to fix that problem by winning the coaches competition and being able to trade him away. But Brittany never does well in any of the competitions, at least not so far. I found it very interesting when Frank won HOH and JoJo immediately went to try and secure her spot when all he would say to her was, "Don't worry, I hold no personal grudges." Now, I found that interesting because, of course, it's a game. He's not going to keep it. He's not going to get it personal, and that also sets him apart from it, saying that while I might not carry personal grudges, I carry a grudge within the game. Right, JoJo? Anyway, let's see. Oh, they touched briefly on the Shane and Danielle showmance, and so that will be interesting to watch how that goes along. Now, I did read on the Joker's updates that I noticed a couple of times, like when she talks. She has a weird set to her mouth, and apparently when she was in high school, some boy punched her and broke her jaw. So that, if you've noticed that, then that's the reasoning behind that, apparently. This was the second week that Boogie tried to pull a fast one on Brittany, and she immediately knew that he was being a fool with her, and she called him out on it. And so I'm really enjoying that. I'm really enjoying Brittany showing them that she's not stupid. You know what I mean? She might have faulty gameplay, but she certainly is not stupid. I found it very sweet that Dan and Janelle they were talking about their family, and they laughed at how the last time that they were in the house, both of them, I guess, were not attached, and he's married and she's married and has a daughter now, and she says it's funny how when people would moan and cry about their family and missing their family, they'd be like, yeah, whatever. And she says, and so now it's just different that the shoe's on the other foot, and now that they totally understand it, and how thinking about what's going on at home, etc., can really pull you off of their game. So that was really sweet. The other real sweet thing was Ashley and Ian going on their slop date. Making him pick up Ashley as soon as he saw her, and said, "Oh, you're so beautiful." Just so sweet, and I know that they're kind of playing with him, which will be really sad, if they do start doing and saying things about him, to hurt his feelings when he gets out. I still don't think that he's all that he's pretending to be, you know what I mean? We'll see as the show goes along. I immediately, Shane and JoJo went into a meeting with Brittany to say, they wanted to totally separate themselves from Willie. And I saw where, when she reinforced that with them, we are going to totally separate from Willie. I'm going to tell him to stay away. He's going to ruin our game, etc., etc. And it almost seemed as if Brittany was pushing him into that, the whirlwind that created that, that he was kicked off of the show. It just seems like, she pushed and pushed and pushed, even though he said, I am, don't worry, blah, blah, blah. She just kept pushing and pushing, and I was like, oh, good grief. But anyways, that's kind of getting ahead of myself. because that's what actually kind of ended the show. But I guess we should address that as we go along. JoJo's said that she wanted to took him Willie on the side and in the have not room and says, "I told you we had to get rid of him," meaning Frank. And Willie said, "I tried to get rid of him." And I'm like, what? What do you mean? Because as far as I could tell, and even reading on Joker's updates boards, he continued to want to keep Frank, even though he put him up. He was still doing background work to try to keep him there and to try to get rid of, was it Kara? And so I don't understand that, so but anyway, apparently I'd read that he actually headbutted Joe 4 times before they finally got him separated and into the diary room where they immediately took him out of the game. And they say apparently that Joe has a black eye, so that'll be very interesting to see if that is indeed the truth as we go along. Anyway, let's go back to the coaches competition, where they all come out in MC Hammer pads, and there's something in their rigged so that their knees have to stay in place in that weird, how MC Hammer would, scuttle across the floor when he was dancing. Yeah. So they had to kind of scuttle back and forth on this little bar, and they were supposed to take packs of money, skitter across this elevated bar, and then place it on the other side and build, until, so it was kind of like figuring out how to Jenga the thing, so that your money doesn't fall. If your money fell and touched the ground, you were out. If you fell and touched the ground, you were out. And Dan immediately said that he needed to throw the competition because he and Danielle have been trying to portray a weak persona, and he wanted to keep that up. But I don't know if I looked away or if they just didn't show it. But I didn't see how he was eventually kicked out. If he fell or if his money pack fell or whatever. But Brittany, pretty quickly, she was like going back and forth like a little skittering rat, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and she was just going so fast. I was like, girl, you better slow it down or you're just gonna muck it up. And then what happens? She hit a bunch of, money just went flying. So yeah, she mucked it up. And so then it's down to Janelle and Boogie actually won. The problem is that he allowed his ego to get, the better of him. And he's all, like, kind of hamming it up and whatnot. Bam! He gets off of the thing before hitting the button at the very end. And then he realized what he did. So he hurried in, he backed it up, and he bams the bell. And too late. Frank noticed. Sorry, you're out of the game. Well, that's what happens when you grandstand, So I just thought that was hilarious, and I'm sure Julie Chen is going to call him out on that on the live show. So Janelle finally just finished it off, and she won her coaches comp. The coaches comp. She decided not to trade any of her people. She enjoys her team and said that she wanted to save Ashley. Now, she gave the reason as she wanted to bring her closer. And I'm guessing that what that is because almost immediately she was forced to put Ashley into have-nots, and so she had to stay in the have-not room and eat slop and blah, blah, blah. So I don't know if that was sort of like, I punished you last week, so I'm going to, give you safety this week kind of thing. On top of that, she immediately got to choose the have-nots and said, I'm definitely going to choose Willie. And then she chose JoJo and Shane. So that immediately, with Willie, JoJo, and Shane out, Brittany's entire team is up on the have-not / slop. And then Ian, of course, he's like, I'll do it. So she just immediately just gives it, because if someone's gonna, is gonna volunteer, then do it. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, the have-nots this week are given pork rinds and pudding as well as slop. So I think they're doing pretty good in terms of protein, because even though pork rinds are just loaded with sodium, it also has a very high protein count, and the pudding also has milk and stuff. So I think that they can, if they if they eat enough of it, they can keep the protein in their body and keep them with a lot of strength. But anyway, that's that with that. So it was a very on the edge episode, because you could just see, did I call him Russell? You could just see Willie just building up, I don't know if it had a lot to do with the music that they were playing, but it was just kind of like, he's gonna blow. So anyway, that is the end of this episode, and I guess we shall see you. I always forget, but I guess it's Wednesday, right? I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Have a good one. See you then. Bye.